Alrighty, howdy neighbors and welcome to Crimson Gray. This is a dating sim, I believe. It's a visual novel, nonetheless. And we're gonna go ahead and play. Let's start a game. John has always thought of himself as a stable person. How did I get an achievement for just starting the game? Stability worked out well when he was just trying not to let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when everything was crumbling around him. When the entire world started to seem gray and flat, and he began wondering if all that stability would kill him, and if he would care when it did. The cat screaming. There wasn't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just... Hey, are you spacing out, man? You're a real head case these days, John. You gonna float away on us? Sorry, just distracted. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. Oh my god. Why are you yelling now? You could have done it any other time. Come here. Scream Queen. Hey. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with the happy-go-lucky person he had been at the beginning of high school. These days, they joked about him being no fun. But it was more than a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us? I think she is. Who is that anyway? Lizzie Dawes, I think. And are you alright? John, doesn't she have math with you or something? It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. She's the only one in color so far. She looked the same as all the other girls in school. Shyer, maybe. She could probably hear them talking about her. He wanted to say something, but kept silent. Damn, she is really staring. Is she staring at us or John? I think it's him. You think she's a stalker? Oh, that's a dead look in the eye. Yeah, those are crazy eyes. You better watch out, John. You're a real sad sack these days, but you could do better than her. Shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why did he have to open his mouth now of all times? But he wouldn't let them keep talking about her like that. People called him creepy or crazy all the time and he hated it. But after those two words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when something mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together. What's wrong with you, man? You say things like that about people you don't know. She's just hanging out up here like we are. No, she's giving us some seriously crazy eyes. No, they're back to normal. Just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything to you. Sheesh, okay, man. You think she's gonna fall in love with you as her handsome protector or something? Haha, that'd be just like John. You wanna talk to a crazy girl? Be our guest. We're heading back to class. Don't wait up, man. Dots. The way her eyes moved, John thought that she was focused on him so intently that she might not have heard what the others said. Did it even bother her? He wished he could be like that, instead of the smallest thing sending him crashing into a state of worthlessness. Same. But maybe she was like him, just capable of holding it. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her. Oh, she's happy, I think. Stop yelling. Hey, sorry about them. They could be assholes sometimes. Dots. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you. Dots. John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She'd be fine without him. He just made everything worse. There had been something hard in her eyes, a strength he didn't have. It had probably been projecting his own weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him, wasn't broken. She could shrug off things his friend had said, get up, and get on with her own life. At that moment, she could shrug off his annoyance. She'd probably just forget all about him. Dots. Oh, her world is bright. Dots. Thank you. Yay! Can I finally get a date? Pepper, is this how it's gonna be? Am I finally gonna be able to date something? It didn't work with birds. It didn't work with Toki. It didn't work with you and me. Maybe this is the time. You're so kind. Such a kind person, the kindest person, the only person, and this is the person who I get to date. I feel so happy about that. I found you. I finally found you. I found you, found you, found you, found you, you. Crimson Gray. No, oh, we love that. The words are not working for me. The teacher's voice was incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking it up on some level. He wasn't sure how, but even though he just stumbled through the day, he was doing okay in school. He could seem normal whenever he wanted to, it just didn't feel worth it. That was almost the worst part. He seemed normal even though nothing was normal anymore. It would never be normal again. What did Mrs. Smith say? High-functioning depression? Such an awful empty phrase. At least class is over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignments, and fall unconscious. At least for a few hours and then he became aware of her. She was watching him. Dots. Or maybe she wanted to thank him. No, he was being stupid. He'd done nothing worth thanking. It was likely she wanted something from him. Or, most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him, and he was just imagining the whole thing. She was still staring, though. Dots. Smile. Dots. Her expression is impossible to read. Was she shy? Was she embarrassed for him? Either way, he doubted it mattered. He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Mrs. Smith getting mad at him again. Mrs. Smith was one of the only people John could focus on. I wasn't sure how much good she actually did him, aside from prescribing medicine. Or at least she tried to help. She's wearing red. Ew. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? Dots. A boy your age, I'd be more interested in girls. Are you dating someone? No, I can't focus on people. Maybe I could prescribe you something for that. We don't have any on hand, but I could get it quickly. That's the advantage of having Koitek in town. I don't want to take this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The Paxidine? It's the first one you really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is so gray. Voices just echo. Can you go back to the generic medicine? John, you need to understand that you are deeply clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should not, under no conditions, go off your medicine. Dots. If you're getting used to the medicine, there could be initial side effects. Sometimes things have to get worse before they get better, okay? Okay. All he heard was he was too broken for any drug to fix. He was so worthless, even the newest drugs from Koitek didn't do anything. I'll renew your Paxidine prescription and see about getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this out yet, John. Dots. Now why don't you lie down there and we can begin our session? Good. Get comfortable. Did anything special happen during the day today? No, it was a normal day. The therapy session quickly fell into a meaningless buzz. After a short time, at least, he didn't feel the emptiness. Finally, or too soon, it was over. Smith told him he was doing well and set him on his way. John slept down at home. The house was empty, like it always is. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. He did his homework, he ate, he cleaned the dishes, he sat out in front of the TV and stared at it without turning it on. He somehow dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. This routine used to be comforting, but now it was starting to erode his sanity. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second, he thought he saw a girl out the window. But no, there was nothing. Of course there wasn't. He really was losing it. Or was there? Another day. He had to face it somehow. With the mic closer to me. Had to move it somehow. It seemed impossible until the moment he finally stumbled into class. School was its usual mindless buzz. There was a job fair announced the third period as if it meant anything at all. Most everyone at the school would either go work for Koitek, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed. Ron wondered which one of those would happen to him, but from a distance, as if he was thinking about some person he barely knew. His grades were good enough to get into Koitek, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have enough energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could imagine was surviving the day. But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't want him. Once he graduated, there was no way he could stay with either of them. What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless? Sit there on the street begging for change until one night he froze to death? Maybe that's what he deserved. Dots. John, are you alright? Sorry, sir, I'm paying attention, honestly. And Ness, I'd ask if you were alright. I'm fine. Well, be sure to talk to the counselor if you're feeling bad, alright? We're lucky to have someone like Miss Smith with us. Dots. He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons, but if people were starting to think something was wrong, his control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker between periods. There was more Paxine in there. He still had an extra dose left for the day. His locker was at the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sticking in the middle of his locker. Cheer up. Aww. It's actually a little cute. I kind of like that. That's all it said. Nothing on the backside, no other clues. Probably a girl's handwriting. Who left it? Oh, girl, we know who left it. Everybody knows who left it. Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker? Huh? Did something get stolen? There's too many guys around here for me to notice. I think it might have been a girl leaving a note. Like a love note? Keep dreaming, John. You think any girl would love your sorry ass? Come on, man. No, of course no one would love him. You didn't see anybody. Okay, thanks. Hey, John. You gonna tell me she's Canadian? Heading back to class. See you later. And she's really hot, right? Your imaginary girlfriend sounds amazing. You're a dick. I knew he should probably just take some more Paxine and head back to class yet. He was still holding on to that paper. He wasn't sure why. It really could be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. If so, it would probably be followed by another fake note asking him to come under that stupid confession tree, where they'd let him wait and laugh at him. But for just a moment, he saw a girl watching him. Could it have been her? We know it's her. Dots. By the time we got to class, Joan had a new theory. She felt sorry for him. He must have looked pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions enough to feel pity. Dots. The school day passed in more of a blur than usual. He might have been delusional, but part of John still hoped it wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker, not daring to imagine anything. There was another paper waiting there for him. Oh. Oh. They shouldn't say those things about you. Oh, shit. It didn't even look like the same person's handwriting. The first had beautiful calligraphy. This one was hurriedly scrawled. If it wasn't a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going to do with this. He'd already been beating himself up over saying the wrong thing, so this was just too much for John. He headed straight home to get some sleep before he cracked completely. Next day, John went as early as possible and purchased the locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. There was no note this time. There was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil. Set in the exact center of the bottom of his locker. Oh no! They just got in there. John stared at it for a while, then slipped it into his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew it would be far too early. There was no way he could eat it. If it was a prank, they probably slipped a laxative or something inside of it. That was the kind of thing his friends thought was funny. But if it was that girl, Dots. It didn't matter now. What mattered was someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get in whenever they wanted. That could be a real problem. She should come up with a solution before tomorrow. But what? Let's leave a note. John cut a small sheet of paper from one of his notebooks, wrote "Thanks" on the inside, and set it in his locker. If it had been a prank, that ought to throw the pranksters off. And if it was someone who meant well, hopefully they'd just take it as normal gratitude. He headed home, and once his homework was done, quickly fell asleep. The next morning, he thought he had spotted someone outside of his window. There was no one there. What is this music? When he opened his locker the next day, his note was gone. Making an effort to set the mystery of the locker aside, John went with his friends up to the rooftop for lunch. They spread out on one side, enjoying the sight of the trees below. Midway through the meaningless conversation, John noticed Lizzie was watching him from the far side of the roof. Her gaze was even more intense than before, so he uncomfortably tried to ignore her and focus on the conversation. Looks like the confession tree is in full bloom, huh? Really believe those stories, true love and all that? It works, man. I got a buddy who just graduated and he swears he got so much confessing under it. Well, if he kept doing it, that's not true love, is it? Come on, people have been confessing there for years. You seriously think everyone would confess under the tree if it did nothing? No, man. I think it's a tree for lust. It doesn't guarantee true love, just getting laid. If that's true, way more guys would be doing it. But it's mostly girls that I've seen. What do you think, John? Oh, no. Aw, don't be that way. You dream of a girl confessing to you under the tree, don't you? Yeah, like that crazy stalker chick. It'd make your heart go all aflutter if she confessed, wouldn't it? The tree is magic, man. I'm telling you, even a sad sack like you can get lucky if you confess there. Don't be stupid, it's just a tree. Whoa, someone has their panties in a twist. I'm telling you, everyone goes there to... Only because people like you keep telling those stories. There's nothing magic about the tree. Just people believe it's special because everyone says that it is. Crossing the tree is romantic, so of course they'd be more likely to agree there. And guys would have to turn someone down in front of an audience. That's all it is. Shit, man, what is wrong with you today? Dots. An attitude like that, you're never getting a girl. Haha, you insulted the tree. It'll cockblock you now. Nah, ha 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 ha. Dots. Oh, I don't like those eyes. Those are bad eyes. I have played Angels of Death. I know what those eyes mean. That day, John couldn't get to his therapy appointment fast enough. Miss Smith smiled at him when he came in, but immediately saw he was unhappy. You okay, John? Perhaps you should be on a stronger formulation. No. Well, a session should make you feel better. Lie down and get comfortable. Smith, does Paxitine have any visual side effects? I sure hope not. Koitek is the highest standards for every drug it puts out, and Paxitine is nearing its final critical trials. Are you having vision problems? John laid down and stared at the window. Was he really seeing differently, or was it all in his head? He stared a long time before he opened his mouth and just started talking. Everything just feels so gray. So you are having vision problems. Not literally gray, it's just the sky today. I remember when I was younger, I thought the clouds were beautiful. But now it's like there's nothing there. Nothing that matters. I look up and I just don't care. It sounds more likely to be a mental issue then. Why don't you get more relaxed and talk about it? Taking a deep breath, John did his best. As usual, after talking with Mr. Smith for long enough, he felt not better necessarily, but at least not miserable. The session went by in a flash, and then he had to head home. He shuffled through his routine easily, slept fitfully, and returned to school barely more rested. When he arrived, there was a huge crowd standing and staring. What's going on? You know the tree students like to fess under? The words made John shiver. Even though he wasn't entirely sure why, he shifted to look where the crowd was, and then he saw it. Oh, fuck. A special kind of thanks achievement. Parts of the tree were still burning, but the rest was char. Ashes coated the ground near it. His throat was dry, as if all the ashes were filling it. What happened? The cops started coming to check it out. The shop teacher said it looked like arson. Someone covered the tree in gasoline and burned it down. See, this is why we need cameras. I've been telling the principal for years, but he doesn't listen to me. No one thinks. The words slipped off his mind, and John turned away without even saying goodbye. Not entirely sure what he was doing, he stumbled straight to his locker. When he opened the locker, he discovered a folded note set in the exact center, like always. He stared at it for a long moment before unfolding it with trembling hands. I didn't like that tree either. He stared at the words as if they were a foreign language, wishing he could avoid understanding the conclusion. I didn't like that tree either. I love the face that she drew. It's beautiful. It was her. It had to be. None of his friends would be that insane. What's the point of a prank like that? But what's the point to her? What did she feel like she had accomplished? Should he tell someone? But there wasn't actually evidence. And did he really want her to get in that much trouble? John decided he was being stupid, like usual. He just needed to talk to her and find out exactly what happened. But none to this. That day, whenever he was in the hallways, he could feel her eyes on him. Every passing moment, he became more sure that she had burned down the tree. He wondered if normal people would be afraid now, but for him, it was barely penetrated his numbness. He just wanted to find out what was wrong and put an end to it. It took until after school for him to find his chance. When the teacher handed out assignments, he volunteered to clean the roof. Don stepped onto the roof and headed to the far side. After a few seconds, he heard the door open again. He ignored it and instead climbed up to the tank. The upper area was meant to be blocked off, but the janitors stopped putting up the ladder years ago. Hey! He turned, and to his shock, she was already climbing up the ladder behind him. Reaching the top, she held her hands close to her chest and shuffled her feet demurely, but there was a spark in her eyes. Hello, Lizzie. Dots. You're never going to greet me? Hello. Aw, she had a little brush on. That's cute. I said it. Yay! Why are you following me? Because I like Dots. Could this girl really have burned down the tree? It didn't seem like she had it in her. Are you the one leaving me notes in my locker? Yeah. How did you know my combination? I watched you. You left me a note. It was almost too much. I took it home, and I'll keep it forever and ever and ever. I realized that he was in way over his head, yet his mouth was still moving, asking the inevitable question. Why did you burn it down? Because it was a stupid tree. You're so smart. You said it just right. It's awful and stupid, and I hate it and hate it and hate it, hate. Nuts. It's all because of you, John. I never could have done it, and what was needed to be done before. Now I can. This is the Yandere simulator? What just happened? She wasn't stable. She wasn't even close. What had he gotten himself into? I finally found you. You're the only one for me. Part of him knew that he should do something, run away, call for help, yet why? Why do you care about me? How could you ask that? You're the best person, the only person. Bullshit. I'm just another high school boy. No, not even that, I'm worthless. No. Don't say that. It's not true. It's not. Oh, she looks so sad. I'm broken. My brain doesn't work right, and even the strongest drugs can't make a difference. No, that's not true, John. It's perfect. How can you say these things? The way her words flow together, addressing him directly one moment and third person the next, bothered him almost as much as that look in her eyes. Whatever she was, it went deep. She's the yandere. You're not well, Lizzie. You need help. Ah, you said my name. But I can't help you. I'm not worth anything to anyone. Just forget about me and find someone to care about. As far as someone else to care about. No, I could never. You're the only person who matters. But why? You don't even know me. You don't care about me. You're just part... Oh, I'm just part of your problem. No. It would be better if I was gone. Maybe you'd be better then. It's not true. It's not. I love you, John. I've always loved you. Dots. I've watched you. Always. You're so good and kind and perfect, and even to a girl like me. He could barely even listen to words. Oh, he could barely even listen to words. John found himself wandering closer and closer to the side of the building. She followed him automatically. You're so sad. But you're so kind. I don't know how. You should be broken like me, but you... I can't help you. If you want to help yourself, you need to forget about me and get real help. No, don't say that. You're confused. Yeah, confused. Poor John is so depressed, he is not thinking straight. He doesn't understand how much I love him. Okay, she has a knife. He needs my help. Now look in her eyes, the knife. Ooh, buddy! Bang! The words froze. The world froze for a moment as the knife glinted, and all he can do was stare at its edge. Oh, that's a good look. You just need someone to take care of you. I'll stop anyone who says unkind things about you. No, I should just take you home and keep you there. Safe, yes. You just need some help. Where the hell has she gotten the knife? Did she actually use it on him? A second later, John realized that was a foolish thought. The girl had burned down a tree because he said it was stupid. He had no idea if there were any limits to what she might do. Dots. Would that really matter? He spent nights laying in bed wishing he hadn't been born. Wishing he had a way to end it all. You can't threaten me. John, get away from the edge, it's not safe. She took several steps to the very edge before she could stop him and turn around to face her. The back end of his shoes hung over the edge of the building, nothing between him and a fatal fall. Your life matters so much to you? Stop toying around with me. No, you don't understand. Is what you want? To stab me until I'm yours forever, is that it? Never. John is so good and kind, I would never want to stab him. Please, come away. I'll take good care of you. You can't. You have good intentions, but you need help. Unless you get it, you can only hurt me. I will, whatever you want, I promise, just don't hurt yourself. Oh, she's so upset. It was a lie, of course. She was just saying whatever she could to get him to step away from the edge. Exactly how he had imagined it to go. He'd stand at the edge, and everyone would say all kinds of lies about how much he mattered to them. Because they'd care for the first time. Not about him, but about the idea of him. But the look in her eyes, that can't be faked. It might be twisted love, but she loved him utterly. She needed help too. Maybe he could be the one to help her, assuming she didn't stab him. What the hell was he living for anyway? Lizzie, can you make a promise with me? A promise? The glint's back. Okay, we're good. I'll step away. I'll talk to you. Or let you leave notes in my locker. Whatever it is you want to do. But you have to listen to me and get some help. Could you do that? You promise? You promise you won't leave me if I say yes? I won't leave you, Lizzie. Forever? Answer stuck in his throat, and he hesitated. Wondering if he was making a mistake by saying too much, but in the end he swallowed and nodded. Forever. Nah. Now set down the knife and I'll... Whoops. As he started to step away, John lost his balance and fell backward. Suddenly, he was in free fall. Nothing between him and the cold pavement. Ooh! At that moment, Lizzie lunged forward, insanely fast, and grabbed his wrist. Oh wait, we can save. Hold on. We need that one. Hell to the yeah! Impossibly, she held him up. Her body was thin, and she somehow had stopped his fall and hauled him up with one hand. Her eyes were a mixture of unstable fear and twisted desire. In that moment, he knew with absolute certainty that if he had fallen, she would have thrown herself off after him. You can't die, John. You're the only one. The only one. With that same incredible strength, she pulled him back up to the rooftop. Fortunately, she had left the knife behind before she had lunged to catch him. He was so anxious being so close to her. John. John almost died. John, I love you. Won't let anything bad happen to you. Dots. It was clear that she was completely unstable. But was she actually dangerous? You seemed to care more about him than anything else. Or was he just so pathetic that he latched onto anyone who showed him the slightest sign of affection? Worthless. You keep your promise, right? Of course, of course! And tomorrow, we'll talk to someone. See if you can't get some medicine. Is that okay? If it's what John wants, then of course it's okay. Good, then perhaps. But I want more than that. Dots. I love you, John. I've told you over and over. Don't you love me too? At least she was asking without a knife in her hand, but was there a good answer to the question? No, I had to think about it logically. She wanted him to answer yes. Or that just might make her worse. The risk of saying no couldn't be ignored either, though. We're going to cautiously say yes, because she is a darling. See, I don't know you very well yet, but despite all this, I think you're a good person. No, I'm awful. John is just being kind. I'm not answering the question. I want to get to know you better, Lizzie. Maybe then I can love you. He said it. I desperately hoped it wasn't a mistake. He hoped this all wasn't a mistake. Oh no, honey, this is beautiful. This is the romance of the century, ladies and gentlemen. I finally get a girlfriend. Mazel tov. But he hadn't been stabbed yet. And after how today has gone, that was good enough for him. And I'll see you later, okay? I'll be watching you. But yes, later. You're not gonna do anything crazy? No, John loves me, that's all that matters. We both need to get to class, but we'll talk tomorrow, okay? Okay. The rest of the day was even more of a blur than usual. Everyone's voices not even echoing in his head. John could hardly believe what he had just done. It all seemed like a dream now. Had Lizzie really pulled a knife on him? Had he really threatened to jump off the school building? It made him wonder if he wasn't the insane one. But no. It had really happened. For better or worse, he really was stuck in this situation. Only when he headed back to bed did John realize that he felt strangely alive. Even better than his therapy sessions. Maybe it was the brush of death. Maybe it was just having something to think about other than his pathetic existence. But he felt almost good. And maybe that meant he was crazy too. But just now, he was just glad to sleep soundly. In the morning, it all seemed more unbelievable. John sleepwalked through his routine, half certain that he would find out that it had all been a dream. But when he arrived at school, he found Lizzie waiting for him by the school entrance. She looked like she had been waiting there the entire night. When she saw him, though, her face lights up. John, you're finally here. I've been waiting so long. Good morning. Yes, it's a wonderful morning. I spent so long too nervous to talk to you, afraid that you would hate me. But we had such a nice talk. I'm barely nervous at all. But my heart, it still goes crazy every time you get near, John. Dots. Isn't it horrible that we have to be in different classes? Lovers shouldn't be separated like this. Her face. She's such a cutie pie. Will you eat lunch with me today? Please, won't you? She could sound so adorable. Normally he'd be happy for a girl like her to be asking to eat lunch together, but sure, all over again. No, there might be unkind people there, and you might feel sad again. No, not the perfect place. Or is it? It's a secret. I'll show you about lunchtime. He wasn't sure how to feel about that. For once, John had something to look forward to. Or dread, he wasn't sure. The minutes seemed to crawl until it was finally lunchtime. When he went looking for Lizzie, he discovered that she had been waiting for him, completely silent, watching him. Hi, Lizzie. Let's go, let's go. We don't need to go to the cafeteria. This way. She practically dragged him away from the school and on one of the paths to the nearby forest. Soon, they got far enough to where they didn't hear any sounds from the school. Here is perfect, just perfect. Lizzie faced away from him, giving a soft little laugh, and suddenly she rolled around, thrusting something toward him. A lunchbox. I worked really hard on this. You have to eat it. You have to. Okay. Thanks, Lizzie. She gave a little squeal and promptly sat down on a small rock. It seemed she had a second lunchbox of her own, but she kept it in her lap until he opened his. John was braced for a horror show, but he was surprised it was just normal food. It actually looked pretty good. He took a bite and it tasted good too. John realized that Lizzie was staring at him intensely, as if her life was on the line. So he smiled at her. It's really good. Yay! I worked so hard on it. I could tell. So, do you just want to eat it together, or... This is a date, isn't it? We should get to know each other more. I want to know everything about you. Well, nothing special. That's not true. Let's see, what to say. About himself, John found it easy to talk to her. He was sure that he sounded like an idiot rambling about stupid mundane topics, yet she listened to every word with rapt attention. See, this is nice music. You can groove to this. It was bizarre to have someone actually care about his life. His father never had time, his friends were busy with their own things. Mrs. Smith was just listening professionally, but Lizzie really cared. He knew that she wasn't well, that her obsession is probably a sickness, but a pathetic part of him didn't care. He was just happy to have someone paying attention to him. Is the background getting color? That's nice. I feel like it's slowly getting color. Only after talking for a long time did he realize that he was talking about himself like a self-centered jerk. He didn't seem to mind, but he still felt guilty. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I can do that sometimes. No, don't apologize. I like listening to you talk. It's probably boring, though. I mean, you already know a lot about me. I want to know everything about you. I've watched you for so long, I know all the facts, but I still don't know everything. I can't see inside your head. That's where the most important parts of John is, but I can see him. I wish there was a way to crack your head open, see all the thoughts inside, and swallow it uncomfortably. You can always just ask me what I'm thinking, okay? Okay, you're so nice, John. That's... yeah, self-preservation, so nice. That's... So Lizzie, tell me about yourself. Well, there's nothing to tell. I'm not important, I just want to listen to you more. Yes, but I just want to know more about you. Don't you want to tell me? John is so kind, I don't deserve him. So, what about your parents? I live alone now. Neither of my parents wanted me anyway. I'm not sure that's true. It's probably just... I don't need to make you feel better. I don't mind. I don't mind that your parents... Father never loved me anyway. And my mother's dead now. Oh. Dots. My parents separated too. You're made it formal, but yeah, they're separated. Mom doesn't like to visit, and Dad's always at work. So it's like he's not really there. Oh. Do you mean they just left you alone? How horrible. Or did they just leave you alone like that? Oh no, 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 no! No, 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 honey! Everything's fine! Clubs. Are you in any after-school clubs? When he wasn't pulling the conversation away from troubling topics, John actually found himself enjoying their talk. Or maybe he was just happy to be talking with someone and actually managing to pay attention to the conversation. He finished every bite of lunch without thinking about it. Even the way she stared at the last crumbs while he was finishing was probably a good thing. Too late it occurred to him that she may have tampered with the lunch, yet she still stared at him, so pleased that he enjoyed it. John couldn't believe that she would do anything bad to him. As soon as he had that thought, he remembered that tree and shivered involuntarily. After school, John had barely gotten out the door when he spotted Lizzie following him. It seemed like she was stalking him first, but when he made eye contact, she gave him a sweet smile and skipped forward. John, let's walk home together. Do we live in the same direction? No, but don't worry. I'll walk back to my house later. She did know where he lived. You really need to be more cautious. Maybe we could do something else. Do you remember our promise? Yes. Getting medicine and therapy has really helped me a lot. And I hope it will help you too. Now, I think the easiest thing to do is to take you to Mrs. Smith. She could... No. No, I hate her. She's awful and she wants to take you away from me. Wait a second, that's not true. She just wants to help. John is too nice. He can't see what kind of person she is. I have to protect him. Oh. Whoa, Lizzie, wait, calm down. If you don't want to talk to Miss Smith, we can do something else, alright? Okay. So, probably best not to choose a woman. There had to be a male Koitek pharmacist in... Oh. There had to be a male Koitek pharmacist in town? Maybe one of them could prescribe something? But he wasn't really sure how that worked. He had been counting on Mrs. Smith to guide the process, but now he'd have to figure it himself. Lizzie, I need to do a little research first. Is that okay? Okay, I'll follow you. Maybe it'd be easier if I did it myself? No, I don't like that idea. She doesn't like it. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? You can bring another lunch. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, John. He hoped the medicine would help stabilize her. After all, she'd be cute if... What exactly why is he doing this? He had told himself that it was to help her and make sure no one got hurt, but now he's hoping that she would become normal and stay with him? Pathetic. Couldn't get a girlfriend the normal way, so he had to take advantage of some poor girl's obsession. Dots. For now, it didn't matter. She really did need help, and he might be able to get it to her. Oh, it was just a question of how. The best way is probably to ask for advice, either from Mrs. Smith or a pharmacist. He tried to do research himself, though he doubted he'd be any good at it. And he supposed it wouldn't hurt to ask her if she was taking anything else or had allergies or something. Damn it, he should have done that earlier. Now it's too late to... Dots. John realized that she was still following him. He shouldn't have been surprised, so asking her was still an option. We only had so much time before he had to get home to do his schoolwork, so we had to choose carefully. Fuck! Okay, I don't think researching alone is going to be a good idea. John was walking along the street until he was sure that Lizzie was slinking after him, and turned and waved to her. She waved back. John, did you change your mind? Can we go home together? I knew you... No, I just wanted to check with you. Are you taking any medication right now? Have you had any bad reactions in the past? No, I've never taken anything. My mother always took too many drugs. It scared me when I was little. I see. Are you sure you really are right with taking medicine now then? Aw, John is so considerate. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I see you take your medicine every day to try to get better. I want to be like you. Okay, good, I think. I hope it'll help. I'll take anything you give me, John. Stepping out onto the street, John glanced at his watch and decided he had some more time to research his options. Fuck me. Let's talk to because Mrs. Smith is a bad idea. And if Lizzie is following, then that wouldn't be too good. Researching at the library, I know nothing. Going home really is an option, but it wouldn't give me enough information, so I think we should talk to a dude. John explored the part of town where he thought he remembered a Koitek pharmacy. Turned out his memory was right. It was staffed with a male pharmacist, hell yeah. A middle-aged man gave a pre-functionary nod and listened patiently enough as John described Lizzie's symptoms without mentioning her directly. I recommend Paxitine or Cerazine. Paxitine, Cerazine. Hold on. This is photo time. Paxitine or Cerazine? No, it's not enough. Excuse me, young man, I don't think I'm on Paxitine. This is not a simple problem. I'm worried she might hurt someone. I see. Is there something you should tell me, young man? No, I just want to help. I wish someone had made me get help earlier, and I want to be that person for her. Dots. The condition is serious. Then I have 2 suggestions. I'll need a blood test to prescribe either one, though. Okay. Photo. What do you suggest? Either Nilazine, or Yondaquil. Fuck. Nilazine is good for the problem. Is better if the problem is mental. Yondaquil is if the problem is emotional. Fuck, it's both. Fortunately, it was probably both. Thanks for letting me know about these. I'll see if I can convince her. How many people your age would go to someone's show for the classmate? You're a good kid. Usually the man's words almost made John feel better. Maybe he really was doing the right thing with all of this. It was getting late and John realized he needed to get home quickly if he wanted to have time for his homework. On his way back, he was sure that Lizzie was following him, but couldn't get a clear look at her. At least there was one more day until the weekend. Friday passed faster than John had expected. Lizzie was nearby at all times and they ate lunch together. But there was nothing... Oh, but things were almost normal. Almost. Just as he started to get comfortable, she would give a giggle that went on a little too long, or slide a hand toward where she hid her knife, or respond far more enthusiastically than she should. It was bad for him to think that she was really cute despite all that. She could be nice if she wasn't so well. But John hated it when his friend suggested that he could be fun if he wasn't depressed. And that thought left an ugly knot in his stomach. Well, it wasn't long now. Maybe she can get real help. He made it through his last class, almost slept through his session with Miss Smith, then headed home. John finished his homework and chores as fast as he could and went to sleep. Going to public always drained him, and he wanted to have enough energy for the weekend. He woke up too early, eyes gritty and head still mired with half-remembered dreams. John got up to get a drink and happened to glance out the window. Lizzie was standing outside his house with a huge smile on her face. After sitting for a minute, John groaned and went back to bed. The second time he woke up, the sun had already risen. He felt a little better, but not much. Normally, he would stay home all weekend, but he couldn't do that if he wanted to help Lizzie. She was still standing outside his house, in the exact same spot and the exact same cheerful expression. John brushed his teeth, got dressed, combed his hair, and realized he's acting like he was getting ready for a date. True, he had sort of accepted her confession. John decided that was just what he had to deal with now if he wanted to have a connection with her. Well, at least he can... Well, oh my god, reading! Well, at least he was going out with a cute girl. He hadn't done that since middle school, and those were childish relationships. Of course, this was the only way he could go on a date. Pathetic. Ooh! She's a cutie pie. Finishing his preparations, John headed outside. He hadn't noticed from his house, but Lizzie had gotten dressed up for the occasion. He had never seen her outside of the school uniform, and it made him hesitate for a moment. She obviously put effort into making herself look good, and she did. It would have been nice if not for how it made him worry about the level of importance she was attaching to the day. As soon as Lizzie saw him, she smile became even brighter than it had been while waiting. John, I'm ready. Morning, Lizzie. Did you sleep alright? Oh, I didn't sleep. Let's go. Oh no. I forgot to read. She practically dragged him down the street, apparently headed to the bus station. Instead of looking forward, her gaze is fixed behind her on him. Do you have a plan, John? The first date needs to be perfect. Shit. He should have known she treated that way. It wasn't like he hadn't had enough time. He used to be good at planning. What was wrong with him? Other than clinical depression. God, he was such a mess. Alright, he had to think. He used to be able to think on his feet. He could do this. So, I want to deal with the medication issue first so the rest of the day could be fun, right? Sure, whatever you want. If we get a blood test, we'll have to wait a while. I was thinking we can do the test first, then eat breakfast, then get the results. That should give us the entire rest of the day. Sounds like a great plan, let's hurry! I was glad to hear her respond so happily, but wondered if she would have said that no matter what he told her. They took a bus across town to the furthest pharmacy and ordered a standard Cortex sampling. He had been nervous that Lizzie would react poorly to the needle, but she just smiled sweetly at him while they took a bit of her blood and hopped back up. Look, the Band-Aid has kittens on it. It's so cute. Want to eat something now, then? Yes! They walked to a nearby bakery and he bought them a pair of pastries. One of the advantages of his workaholic father was at least he had a decent amount of spending money. Lizzie held hers in both hands and began cheerfully nibbling on the end of it. She was staring at him while she was doing it, but otherwise she looked ordinarily cute instead of scarily cute. Nom nom nom. You don't have to act so silly. I don't hear you laugh very often. Usually you look so sad. That makes me sad too. And just like that, his good mood crumbled. And I'm always ruining everything. I don't know why anyone stays near me when I just... No. As he took his pastry and shoved it into his mouth to shut him up. You're not depressing at all, John. Just being around you makes me all warm inside. I just want to see you smile more. When you smile, I feel like maybe everything is alright. He attempted to talk around the pastry. Oh, his attempt to talk around the pastry made Lizzie giggle, which made him laugh, which set off a vicious cycle. After a fit of coughing, he had lost half his pastry, but regained his good mood. It had been a long time since the emotional downturn hadn't sent him spiraling toward depression. Lizzie grinning at him, and he smiled back at her. All at once, he felt guilty for trying to convince her to take medication. Who was he to tell her what to do? Worse, was he manipulating her obsession like that? It was only to help her, but did it make it any better? Thoughts troubled him, but they remained in the back of his mind as they finished eating, talking lightly. When they finished, it had been a while since the test. It was time to go back. Let's go get the results, okay? Will John think differently about me? No, I just want to find a way to help you, okay? Okay. She answered cheerfully, but something in the lightheartedness they had shared was gone. It wasn't coming back. Swallowing, John stilled himself and walked with her back to the pharmacy. As he slowed near the entrance, then shuffled backward. I'll stay here. You bring me what I need, okay? Okay, no problem. Inside, he found the pharmacist writing something on a clipboard. When he spotted John, he immediately frowned. You're alone? I suppose it's for the best anyway. We need to talk. Is something wrong? She's not sick, is she? It isn't that kind of test. It only takes a snapshot of a person's current condition. Is your friend going through a difficult time right now? Well, I mean, maybe a little. These are some extraordinary numbers. Most people only see those briefly, during their worst days of their lives. Here to take care of her until things pass, alright? Okay? There's something else I have to ask of you. This won't be comfortable, but it's necessary. Have you ever gotten any sense that she might hurt herself or anyone else? No, I can't imagine her doing anything like that. The lie was out of his mouth before he even consciously decided to lie. John regretted it immediately, yet knew it was too late to contradict himself. The pharmacist grunted and looked over his papers. We'll keep a close eye on her. Even the gentlest person can be capable of violence under conditions like these. Is it really bad? I thought she seemed better lately. No, there must have been some recent trauma she hasn't told you about. I'm certain of it. I mean, someone with numbers like these regularly, they could be completely incurable. Insane, even. And definitely a threat to society. Dots. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply anything. I'm sure she'll work through things and go back to normal soon. So could you prescribe anything? Maybe 2 weeks of Yondaquil or Nahalazine. Oh, one or the other? Fuck. That should get her through the rough patch. Just 2 weeks? Can't you prescribe more? Not without a much more extensive evaluation. But I think that's all you'll need. She'll recover soon. Dots. I really should be asking her directly, but in her present condition, I think it would be safer to bend the rules and let you act as a family member. So which one do you think would be best for her? Fuck. Okay. So Yondaquil is for emotions. Nilazine is for the other one. It's for mental. So mental or emotional. Fuck. Alright, here we go. D4. Where are you? 1 or 2, Yondaquil. 3 or 4, Nihilazine. Here we go. Yondaquil it is. Tweets of Yondaquil coming up. Try to help her rest, okay? Yeah, okay. Heading outside, John handed the bag to Lizzie. He had pushed pretty hard to get to this point, but he would never force her to take the medication. His father had used to talk like he didn't have a choice about depression medication, practically threatened to force feed it to him. John refused to do that to anyone else. But Lizzie didn't make an issue about it at all. Smiling at him, she opened the bag, she took out one of the pills and swallowed it without even taking a drink. She'd given the label a careful look, though. Okay. You can love me now, John. See, no, I never meant anything like that. Please don't. That didn't taste bad at all. So, can we go on our date now, John? Can we? He wanted to go back on what she had said, reassuring her that he meant nothing wrong by it, with the words stuck in his mouth. Maybe on some level he did mean to force her. Maybe he was repeating everything that had been done to him. Lizzie was smiling at him like that. He couldn't fall too far into depression. Instead, John smiled back and gestured for her to follow. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I need to learn to read. Without any great ideas, John thought they could go to the park. Their town had a pretty nice park, and it was usually empty around this time of day. His friends always said that a movie would be the best first date, but he suspected they mostly wanted to try to cop a feel. Besides, he was worried Lizzie would end up watching him instead of the movie. In the park, Lizzie happily skipped along the paths, often looking back at him, but at least looking at a lot of other things. As he watched, he realized she was definitely more stable than usual. She stayed cheerful and sweet, without any threats of violence. Could it really be the Yondaquil? With him, the Paxitine had taken weeks to work. Whether or not it actually helped had been really unclear. And again, Lizzie was her own case. Of course, it took more than medicine to cure a serious condition. He knew that all too well. As Mrs. Smith had said, therapy is also an important component to recovery. This has certainly helped him a lot. The third component is a social support network. And there he completely failed to take her advice. He still spent most of his time alone or in meaningless old relationships. But hey, now he's walking the park with a girl his age. Everything's been looking up. For once in his life, things went his way. Lizzie was happy to eat fast food for lunch and didn't even try to feed him anything. Afterward, he was pretty much out of plans, and Lizzie didn't want to stop. Fortunately, she was happy to drag him along town to see random things. And with that, we're gonna end the episode in the middle of this adorable date. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you later.